Ayun. So, ayun, parang feel ko live na tayo. Ayun, may dalawang nanonood eh. So, hello and good afternoon everyone. So, happy Wednesday. So, as you can notice, wala ngayon si Sai. Iniwan niya na kami. Hindi, joke lang. So, ako yung papalit muna sa kanya for today. So, hi everyone. My name is Mel. Ako yung nagsasend sa inyo ng emails. Anyway, so, again, happy Wednesday. So, this is how to host a live stream webinar without any experience. Charot lang. Actually, this is how to organize a national event as a designer without any experience. Wait lang, check ko lang. Ayun. So, dinig ba ako or nakikita nyo ba naman ako dyan? Type 1 naman. Nakikita nyo ba ako? Pa-message naman sa chat. Ayun. Okay. Ayun. So, okay. So, di ko na patatagalin pa. Yung speaker natin this afternoon is someone that na nakasama ko sa isang uh, brand handbook project. So, nung na-meet ko tong person na to, sobrang na-amaze ako kasi ang dami niyang knowledge and insights na nabibigay towards a certain topic, sa design, sa process, when it comes to giving valuable feedback to others. So, ano siya, very curious na tao and very value giver din na tao. And aside from that is, isa din siyang engineer. So, di ko na patatagalin pa. Let's welcome Joshua Kaelco Studio. Ayun. Ayun. Nakikita niyo na si Joshua?
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Ayun. Hi, Joshua. Oh my
Hello.
God. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So, medyo matagal-tagal na rin to
Yep.
na sinet to date. Alam mo, very prepared kasi to si Joshua kasi sinabi ko nga kanina, he's a value giver talaga na person at saka ang dami niyang insights na share sa atin today. So, ayun. Kumusta ka naman, Joshua?
Yan okay lang. Actually, to interrupt lang muna. Nagkaroon ako, may tumatawag kasi so kina-interrupt a bit, no? Balik lang ako.
Sige,
Pero,
balik muna.
oh,
Okay.
we actually post lang. May in-entertain lang. Wala kasi. Sorry guys.
Okay
No?
lang,
Pero
sige.
first and foremost to answer, okay naman ako. No? So, meron lang sudden na, no? So, sorry guys for the
Sige,
interruption.
sige. Okay,
Yeah,
off
wait
ko
lang.
muna kita, Joshua. Ayun. So, while waiting for Joshua, ayun, kumusta naman kayo everyone? Pa-type naman sa chat kung nakaligo na kayo or hindi. Charot lang. Or kung ano bang ginagawa you today, kung nag-religion kayo or you're into uh, client prospecting, yung mga ganun. So, pwede nyo siyang i-type dyan sa chat and then tingnan natin kung may magvi-view ba kahit wala si Sai. Charot lang. Kahit kami-kami lang muna nandito. So, ayun. Type nyo lang yung ano nyo, yung mga ganap nyo sa buhay dyan sa chat. Yun. While waiting for Joshua. Uy, hello! Hello. Good afternoon, Sir Max Magalso. Hi! Shout out po sa'yo. Kumusta naman kayo sa Wednesday na to? Ayun. Okay. Sino pa ba nandyan? Okay, hindi po tayo DJ today. Tayo po ay magho-host ng isang live stream. Ayun, first time ko kasi 'to mag-host ng isang live stream. Hello everyone. Ayun, may mga pumapasok. maliligo pa lang, Facebook user, sino ka? Ayun, all good na si Joshua Cale. Ayun. Goods lang, JC. Balik natin si
Okay.
Joshua agad.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay lang. Ayun.
Anyway, yan
Hmm.
lang. Sige, so okay tayo. So, ano ba?
Ayun,
Ano
sige.
bang
Inhale, exhale muna, Joshua. Before tayo mag-start. So, guys, if
nagmamadali
you're
eh.
ready na, okay na, eto na. Bigay ko na yung floor kay Joshua. Yun. Pa-share ko na yung screen niya. Ayan. Okay.
Okay. So first and foremost, good afternoon, everyone. So, okay, hindi ko nakikita kung alien yung viewers. So, kung meron, kung kahit 1,000, 2,000 yan, okay lang yan. Tuloy tayo, no? So, basically, first and foremost, I would like to give thanks to Coach Dave and his community. Actually, Cyril is the one who invited me if I can present dito sa community with something related ba sa banding or sa design, no? So, tayo naman na very okay, very good tayo or really want to be aspire as a educator. So, payag ako, no? And it took ko a while before nagkaroon lang ng meetup when it comes to the availability. So, ngayon lang nangyari. So, push na natin. Anyway, so what I'm going to present today is more of a story lang. So, magkukwentuhan lang tayo dito for the rest of the day or throughout this live stream, no? So, about my experience. So, I choose how to do this title because I do think na during my time being in this in my experience here on what I'm going to do, I don't really have that kind of the solid experience or the fullest confidence that I can really pull through on organizing an event, especially in a magnitude na national event siya. So when we say a national event, buong Pilipinas na po yung coverage niya, no? So that's already like a big pressure for me. But eventually, I've been managed to pull it through, and a lot of the experiences that I gathered and some of my freshest memories of it, I put it out to in this presentation. And I put it also as well some insight that I get from succeeding reflection, which in that case, may makakuha naman tayong aral doon or what I can do something different about it. So let's proceed, no? So kung okay naman, let's do it. Okay, so I will start out with a question, no, sa mga viewers. Ito yun, what is the role of a publicity head in a context of events? And I would like you to try to answer this based on what you know or your stock knowledge. You don't need to search it. What is the meaning of a publicity head in Google or whatsoever. Try nyo lang sagutin, no? Ano nga ba? Magbabasa ako kung mayroong magko-comment, no? Tingnan natin. Kapitan, sabi ni Cyril. Anyone? So I just gonna give the few minutes. Taga-announce. Chairman. Okay. Very good. Very good responses. Anyway, so if you're gonna be asking me answering this in myself, no. So without saying about what really happened, no. My first impression would be by just only looking the word publicity head. And I will not be paying attention on the word head because it's definitely mean you're being like a leading of a team, di ba? So, by the word itself, publicity, ang ano dyan, ang impression ko dyan, ano yung magiging public communication mo with the people or those are the target audience of the event, no? So by that's the word itself, it's all about communication. It's all about how you able to perceive yourself to your audience in through many ways. It could be on voca, on voice, on text, or on imagery, no. So iba't ibang klase, no. So yun. Pero let's say in terms of what really happened to me, given that perception of what really means to be a publicity head, madi-describe ko na lang siya, I just actually wear a lot of hats. And figuratively speaking, hindi ko akalain na yung trabaho ko hindi lang siya ganun kasimple. It actually means a lot of things. No. So, yun lang yun. Yun lang yung parang masasabi ko doon sa ano ba ibig sabihin ng pagiging publicity head when it comes to hand, organizing an event. So before I'm gonna be starting out, I like to begin out with my history. Before akong maging publicity head talaga, no. So back then, actually, my background on design is already started like nung bata pa ako, like mga grade 12, so to speak, if I can remember correctly. And back then, I started sa pag-edit ng videos or video editing. So, ang naalala ko, ang inspiration ko noon, the reason I actually started doing the video editing stuff is because I was really inspired trying to replicate the awesome works of those video editors na gumagawa ng mga cinematic frag movies sa mga games. Katulad ng mga Counter-Strike, Special Force, no. So, as you can see here sa slide, ito yung naging gawa ko, yung mga naging significant. At least I can tell to myself na I did a great job, no. So, yun yung history ko back then. So, technically I do have like a form of experience, at least design wise. And also to speak, I'm actually doing this more of a hobby rather than something necessary for work, no. And then back then when I was now on college, that was like 2017, doon ako pumasok sa organization. So doon officially ako naging part ng academic org ko nung college ako. So that organization is really centered for civil engineering students in the university. And our advocacy is very simple. We are more on really communicating what is the essentials of civil engineering, and as well as advocating yung mga iba't ibang mga goals ng organization. So outreach kami and so on and so forth. Especially basta ang target namin is all about promoting civil engineering as itself, no. So yun naman yung essence doon, right? So nung pagkapasok ako, habang naging aplikante pa lang ako, ang lagi ko sinasabi sa mga future orgmates ko noon ay I know how to edit videos, I know how to do graphics, no. Then yun, naging cause and effect siya. So when I became officially a member, I started out creating assets sa mga events and other important stuff about the organization. So particularly speaking, so nakikita niyo sa slide nito, ito yung isa sa mga naging early work ko talaga, which is nag-produce ako ng mga graphic content para sa event called User Interface 2017. And just a quick round of what is User Interface 2017. It's a national event more parang seminar siya, and the topic circulates around engineering softwares. So we are going to invite like speakers from different institutions, and what we do is be able to invite them to share about how to use or utilize the engineering softwares available in the market. No? So big deal yung event, and I'm not going to be saying I'm very like the most proudest person ever if I am now saying this today. Pero back then, this was already a big deal kasi ito nakikita niyo sa ito yung isa sa mga unang logo na ginawa ko. So siguro yung mga designer na it doesn't really count like a very proper logo, and I totally agree, no. But back then, that's was my perception of what a really logo looks like, and nag-circulate siya, ginamit namin siya throughout the event. No. Then eventually, ito yung mga mga succeeding work ko din moving forward after no 2017. So madami, no. So ito iilan lang sa mga sa mga highly prolific ones. So again, this one is on the left is yung High School Clash 2018, which is a event for high school students. So ito yung ginawa ko, mga poster, then as well yung nag-ano rin ako, produce din ako ng ABP, ba? And then also as well, we also have the vertical limit here on the right. So ang event naman nito is all about structure making contest naman siya. Ang ginawa ko lang naman dito is to really produce a publicity material that will be used as a poster and be circulated throughout the university. Kasi yung event na to ay university-wide yung coverage. It's not a national event. So, madami akong pwedeng ma-share no, about there's a lot of things that I did in my organization. Pero hindi ko na siya mabilang talaga. Madami. So, I just want to uh, establish a context here of ano ba yung parang background ko before I was put in the position of being a publicity head dun sa event namin. So, moving forward, I'd like to discuss what is Engineering Congress, which is the event that I handled when I was a publicity head. So, to summarize, it's an annual national event in the Philippines, and it consists of two events. So, namely, engineering seminar and executives challenge. So, unahin natin ano naman yung engineering seminar. So, basically, seminar siya where we invite different leading engineering professionals in the country, or sometimes it could be international if we get the opportunity to do so, where they're going to be sharing knowledge about their knowledge or their findings in the industry, or yeah, in anything related itself about engineering. And in many case, in every year we do have like a team. So for example, sa time namin, which is 2020, our team is all about transportation or transportation engineering. So we invited speakers na mga expert talaga sa transportation, and represent sila ng mga iba't ibang bagay na very insightful na dun sa mga engineering students na attending, and as well as dun sa mga professional din na nakikinig, di ba? So ito lang yung isang other photo. So this is one of our speaker, and he's presenting about a GIS, Geographic Information System, as a career option. Then sunod naman is yung Executives Challenge. So ito naman, national event din siya, pero it's more of a intercollegiate competition. So quiz contest siya for engineering science subjects. So yun yung, so to really speak, ano ba yung engineering science sa mga general engineering subjects po siya. So more on math and physics kumbaga. So ito, we are inviting yung mga yung lumalahok mga iba't ibang universities from across the country. It means and also it's important to note na ito yung pinaka parang pinpoint o yung highlight talaga nung buong Engineering Congress, kasi dito talaga nagiging participant yung mga top universities like UP, De La Salle, Mapu, and so on and so forth. Then we also had like a record na may naging attendee kami naggaling pang Mindanao and even Visayas. So ganun ka big deal yung event din. And ito rin, mga photos lang din. And to show din, ito yung so far yung parang mapa, yung record namin. So as you can see here that the event itself is a really big deal one. No? And this one is already outdated, so to speak, because this was what made during my time. Definitely it might have increased further, no? So pero it shows na it's not just this event that I'm going to handle is not a joke, no? Kasi big deal siya, and besides that, it's also a big deal and highly prolific. The stakes also is very high, kasi if you're a participant of Executives Challenge, yung prize pool na yung prize pool namin umaabot yung grand prize by record 70,000 pesos, no? So ganun ka big deal yung event, and at the same time nandun din yung pressure to deliver properly and to make sure na you keep the standard consistent. So, ganun yung parang big deal sa akin nung what is the implication na binigyan ako ng offer to take the role. So, with that being said, no, may conflict naman sa side ko when the time that being given the I was given the green light to be the publicity head. Kasi to give a context, ang nangyari ay nag-usap yung committee namin. They were actually choosing out which among our current resident member are capable to be handling the event in every single position. Kasi also to note na yung team ng Engineering Congress, hindi naman niya siya like one team, obviously. It's a committee. So, iba't ibang positions on different areas. And ang nangyari is, on my time na as far as I can remember, noong time na nag-deliberate na or nag-choose yung executive committee namin noon, also consulting with other previous publicity heads, kung sino yung parang suitable for the job, ako yung parang nagiging isa lang na capable or qualified, no? Kasi yung mga iba, it's either they are not really available anymore or they already been handling other responsibilities in many cases. So, ano naman yung conflict niya sa akin when it comes to this? So, una sa lahat, to really give a context, I think 2019 wasn't really a very pleasant year as a resident member sa organization. Kasi this is the time na ang daming nangyayaring problems internal. So we can really speak it like more of a culture problem where every time na magkakaroon kami ng General Assembly, hindi nawawala sa usapan yung mga serious issues na sometimes it could be merit na ipaabot pa sa taas, sa administration level. Kasi ganun siya ka-severe. And And also, at the same time din, yun yung time na very low ang participation rate ng members. Kasi demoralized kami like in a sense na talagang pwedeng burnout or they have like other experience or talagang pagod na, so to speak. So, nagiging problem doon is we do have like a problem on manpower. No? And it's also very important to even said on this na yung mga very experienced leaders namin sa organization na umahandle ng committees, nagsi-step down sila. And mainly, they are quoting a personal reason, academics, and so on and so forth. So, it's not really like a very pleasant atmosphere back then when I was about to take the responsibility. Then, as per my case, sa sarili ko naman, ako rin, apektado rin. Kasi, I think that was 2019 to 2019 na I was really burnt out the most when it comes to being a creative. Kasi, lahat ng trabaho sa organization na related sa publicity and design, binabato sa akin. No? So, I cannot even tell to myself na ako yung parang merong guilt din noon na kung kung hindi ko itatanggap yung trabaho, sino? So, talaga may inandun yung fear na parang ay nag-contribute pa ako doon sa unsuccess no sa unsuccessful na result, no? And yun yung mga parang naging conflict sa akin if kung tatanggapin ko pa ba tong trabaho na to, baka lalo lang ako ma-burnout or baka maging mag-quit lang din ako or I cannot continue the role itself. So, even though I really said a bit about it na ganun, it's really self-explanatory na rin. Apektado rin ako in the same case din. And also, to even give further context, that was 2019 and that is the year na pag-graduate na ako sa course ko. So that was I think already been on my fifth year, first semester. I was already starting out my undergraduate thesis and that's going to be a very hard one. So the focus on the academic side is more than ever. Pero ito, so bumunyag tong yung offer to take the role. So what now? No? So nandun yung dilemma, yung conflict talaga. Then you might ask now na why I accepted the role? Bakit ka pa rin tumuloy doon? Bakit mo pa rin tinanggap? Bakit ka pa rin nag-show up? And to answer that, basically it's more about empathy, no? So I really know na ano yung implication kapag nakita ko na yung event walang matinong publicity head. And you can already look back then to our slide before. Ano ba yung role ng publicity head? And you will see about communication talaga. And when you are doing preparation for event, napakabigat ng factor if the publicity head will do its job well. Kasi yun yung magiging sort of a factor. Ano yung magiging mga lead na pupunta sa event? Ano or in what strategy it will that the head will do to attract yung mga target audience namin. And of course, I'm able to return back yung mga naging previous na, o mga previous customers. So, empathy. Nanawa lang ako in a sense na I don't want to see the event fail, na hindi siya nag-deliver on its potential sa magiging year na yon. And also to take note, by the time na I was about to take the position, it's already in its 15th year. So, ang tagal na nung event, bakit pa namin, ba't pa to hayaang ano na lang, mag-fall down na lang or maging unsuccessful siya to leave a bad impression doon sa mga naging audience namin o yung mga naging followers namin. So, upon the time na I actually accepted the role, of course, with that reason, this is where the challenges comes in sa time ko in my time taking over the role. So, una sa lahat, financial goals. So, we do have like, so even though we are a non-profit organization in a sense, we definitely have a sort of a financial goals because technically, malaki din yung ilalabas namin pera dito, no? And at the same time, we do really want to make sure na at least we do get some value of organizing this, no? So, syempre, we are not really expecting na may malaking profit because technically speaking, we are not a non-profit organization. But it's also important that we can be able to generate some form of value out of it so that we can be able to fund in our other endeavors or other events. The number two is the expectation to continue delivering the level of new standards. And I will discuss that further in the succeeding slide. Ano yung context ng mismong statement na yon. The number three, low morale in the organization. So to speak, I already explained that before. And when it comes to conflict. And number four, how to achieve sustainability, which is I also going to discuss that in the succeeding slide. Right. So dun sa number 2 and number 4, yung expectation to deliver the standard and to achieve sustainability. And I would like you to pay attention sa mga succeeding slides natin. So una dito yung nakikita nyo, ito yung publicity material ng Engineering Congress 2017. So, and if I can remember correctly, the big highlight here is that our registration head was able to devise a strategy where ang naging total attendees ng event ay umabot ng 1,000 plus. And if I can remember correctly, I think the exact numbers is around 1,500, which is i-compare sa 2016 iteration, that was like 5 times fold increase on the attendees. No? So that's already like a record breaking. And ito yung parang isa sa, I do think na one of the turning points on na talagang nagiging big na yung event itself. Diba? Then next is yung 2017. So, if you've been paying attention right now, you can already see that there is a drastic difference between the quality of the quality of the visuals. So, as you can see, sa 2016 hindi, I do think na comparably speaking, hindi siya pa ganun ka-polish when it comes to the visuals. But if you already compare it to 2017, talagang you can already see na very clean siya, uh, very modern in using high quality materials, no? Diba? So ganun din, naging okay naman din yung sa yung ano, yung parang yung in terms of number of attendees, okay naman siya. I don't remember exactly the numbers. Yun. Then ito yung 2019, which is some form of continuity din sa sa mga sa last year in terms of able to keep up with the quality of the visuals. So, and take note that yung maintain the quality of the visual, this is one of the important responsibilities under the publicity community ng event na to. So, ang primary responsibility yon ng publicity head. So, you can see here. Then let's begin now to move on. Let's begin now doon sa time ko, yung mga ginawa ko, no? And I'd like to start out doon sa ano yung mga naging output na ginawa ko during that time. And I will start out with a new logo. Now, so siguro nagpe-pay attention kayo for the past few slides, and you can see nagpapalit kami ng logo every year. Is that even daunting, or is that even sustainable, very sustainable? And to answer that, in definitely not, no. It's not really sustainable in a sense that we are actually changing logos every year. And you can already see na hindi rin consistent yung parang visual identity ng mismong event or yung brand ng mismong event. And that's also one of the goals in mind that I have when the time na come na naging publicity na ako. Hindi ko, so my goal back then is that I've been able to implement some changes in the system such that it will reach to more sustainable process in the future, no. So you can see here na by this slide talaga nag-iiba kami ng logo every year. Then to also give context, ito rin yung logo ng 2015. And also good fact, bakit ko parang emphasize tong nanditong logo dito? Kasi daw the time na I was talking with some of the fellow alumni my organization na involved din sa publicity process ng mga previous iteration ng event. Ito parang yung kino-considered na permanent logo ng event. And that really makes me question, bakit hindi na siya ngayon parang naging consistent ginagamit, no? So, that already gives a fact, if you're going to look it in the branding perspective, hindi na siya parang naging consistently ginamit. Kasi, nawala na lang siya bigla after 2015. No? The next one is, ito rin yung parang isa ding sinasabing, ito rin yung parang permanent logo din ng EC. And to really give the context, bakit ang nakikita niyo lang ay Executive Challenge instead of Engineering Congress? Well, actually speaking, Engineering Congress did indeed start as Executive Challenge, and that was in that time na nung mga between 2000s and 2010. That is only just a simple quiz competition na university-wide. So ito yung logo na ginagamit to give like a mark on how to communicate the event sa mga publicity side, sa mga tarpaulins, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, no, nakita nyo na yung mga previous logos, di ba, yung event. So this is what I came from. I will not be going to present here yung parang design process because definitely speaking, you can already search it everywhere about how to do a proper logo design. You can be starting out syempre with yung brief, and then yung pagka-gather ng data, you're going to be also analyzing with the insights, you're going to be connecting the dots, and then you're going to be doing yung mga initial sketches mo. So very straightforward naman as long as you've been able to understand what's the process going on. And ganun lang din naman yung halos naging pinagdaanan nung thought process ko when coming up with this logo din. Nakikita nyo right now. So, if I can recall correctly, ang una talagang naging nagawa ko noon when I was wrapping it through my process is itong version 1, which is on the left, which is the Alpha 1. So back then, when I was looking at it, I felt that um, this is already good, no? Good enough siya in a sense na pasok siya dun sa sa mga criteria ko in personally based on what I learned about how to do a proper logo design and ano yung parang notions on what makes a logo uh, uh, a good one, no? But of course, I also try to look then on different other iterations then. Ito yung isa doon sa naging parang nag-strike me the most. And it also been validated further upon trying to consult it with some of the experienced logo designers o yung mga freelance graphic design sa mga communities na pinagta-touch in ko o yung nire-reach out ko lang, no. Just felt na itong nasa right, ito yung parang good option kasi much bolder siya to look at, no. And then to ano to considering further, ito lang naman yung parang brief niya on the concept and construction. So to really describe itself, ano yung meaning ng logo itself ng bagong logo ng EC, ng Engineering Congress. So syempre, we do have like a diamond shape which represents yung mga core qualities ng event. Which is, hindi ko na siya napakita dito, but one of them is, of course, yung pagiging bold, yung mga qualities of something related to engineering, like very technical, very accurate, uh, precision, mga so on and so forth. And and then yung mga other elements, this is yung din yung time na I was looking of trying to adapt some form of a monogram, no? So ito yung parang naging output niya. So I tried to imagine if I combine E and C sa isang space, how I being able to make sure na readable pa din siya. And this is what I come up with, no. So we have E here na naka-highlight siya, and then we have C na doon sa center. And what's fun about it, if you're going to look at it further, according to a close org mate of mine who was also a publicity head then on a different event back then, noon nung time ko. Kapag babasahin mo daw yung pagtitingnan mo daw yung logo sa from inner to outside, mababasa mo yung initial ng organization. So C, E, tapos yung labas O. So, 'di ba? So talagang naging reinforcing siya on able to communicate this nung pine-present ko siya with my org mates. Ano yung naging thought process ko, and I presented all of this na this is gonna be a convincing one na this is the thing that I want to make change, and yun din yung one of the reason na talagang naging more accepted siya within my within the org mates itself. Even though there's like some few doubts like baka kamukha ng ganito or ganyan, or may mga certain gaps din na doon sa my experience na ganito ganyan, parang may namukhaan silang ganito. At yun I decided that we can definitely be pushed through because I do think by just looking objectively sa feedbacks and other insight, this is already a good enough logo to be implemented for the year. And let's see how it goes, di ba? So, ito yung naging version, ito naman yung parang full version noong 2020 nung ginagamit na siya. And you can see here na even I close it in the case, no, with the font, diba? And then, ito naman yung naging nagawa kong mga logos for engineering seminar and executive challenge, no. So you might even think, no, you did something very different here with the main event. What about the other events? So ako back then, if was I gonna be thinking about it, hindi hindi ko I felt na parang hindi pa necessary to me na gumawa pa ng proper logo for dun sa other two events. Kasi iisipin mo, we are actually producing like 3 logos every year. We do have like a logo for the main event. We have also have logo for each of the sub events, as you can see. So talagang matrabaho siya. So you're gonna be asking yourself, sustainable ba talaga to? No? So, pero in my case, I actually focus more on the main event itself, no? Yung mismong pinaka face ng ano ng Engineering Congress. Kasi if I think about it, seminar and challenge are it really changes every year in terms of the theme and the feel of the event. Ang if I gonna be working on sustainability and able to strengthen further yung naging established branding ng event, might as well I focus on the main point, which is the event itself, the Engineering Congress name. No? So yun lang yung naging thought process ko doon. Then the next one after looking for further, yung identity system naman. So a fun fact about it when it comes to the way we do things here is yung mismong parang design direction namin sa organization, dictated na siya mostly doon sa color of the year choice namin. No? So, so nung time ko, nung 2020, if I can remember correctly, ang naging color of the year choice is salmon pink specifically. Ito yung naging gamit na color choice. So, ang consequence of dahil ito yung color choice namin, yung mga event namin maglalaro lang dito sa palette na to. So, let's say for example, yung sa isang event namin nun, yung high school clash nung iteration, ang main shade niya ay salmon pink, then if I can remember correctly, yung naging parang complementary color niya ay light blue, then white. And I was looking at it. I was like, man, this color combination is actually very difficult to work on kasi it's very dominant on the light side. Eh medyo mahirap pa na maghanap ng complementing color na on the dark side na okay tingnan or madaling i-implement sa lahat ng bagay. So, what now? So, in my case, I did went to the unconventional way of doing things. So actually, to be fair, ang una kong narinig talaga is pink lang. So, it's baked to me na it's either salmon pink ba siya o ano. No, hindi ko alam na ang specific shade pala ay salmon pink. So, back then, when narinig ko, pink yung magiging color of the year ng event, ng mga, ng org namin, so sa lahat ng events namin. So, naisip ko agad ito. So the fun fact is yung Hanzo Spark sa Overwatch. So kung mga may naglalaro ng Overwatch dito at nagfo-follow sa Overwatch League, so you definitely check it out there. Ito yung parang naging inspiration ko dun sa ano yung magiging direction na gusto kong mangyari creatively when it comes to the event. So I was looking at it, ano ba yung mga magandang color combination sa pink? Ito talaga yung bumunyag sa akin. So cool din siya. So pink and blue. And specifically, we had the hot pink and a light blue. No? And if you're going to be also looking at it, dahil transportation yung team ng year namin, ang dami niyang connection. So, di ba, ang ano, if you're going to remember correctly, yung sa MMDA, di ba? Kung makikita niyo yung back then, may makakita niyo yung parang color palette sa mga signage and even yung sa mga public urinals na ano, yung blue yung blue at saka yung pink. So with that being connection, it actually might good it might really work well or it really fits dun sa direction, no? So yun yung naging decision ko moving forward that I'm gonna be pushing out with this color palette because I felt na it was really fitting, no? So ito yung naging parang identity system in a simple case. So as you can see, meron lang ako tatlong team, which have a dark one with the pink one and the light team. Then yung 5 place choice namin. So yun lang yung nakikita nyo. And then we have the we have the layout guidelines. So this is yung parang what I did back then when I was a publicity. Ito yung parang sort of akin doon sa design guidelines ng event. Ito yung parang ipamamigay ko sa mga co-heads ko or doon sa mga publicity sa mga members namin na may in charge something about design. Ito lang yung kailangan nilang tingnan and they can already ask questions about some clarifications kung ano ba yung paano nila gawin dito, paano gawin ganyan, and so on and so forth. And I think and if I can remember correctly, ano yung parang naging big big improvements na ginawa ko dito is I did make sure na very explicit yung statements na ginagawa ko, no? Na ito talaga yung masunod and so on and so forth. And if not, definitely it's much recommended to consult it, no? So I already showed you yung logo and the identity system that we have. Let's go to the touch points. Ano yung mga naging applications ng logo namin na ginawa ko, and then yung identity system na in-establish ko as publicity head kasi yung gumawa nun. So, first and foremost is yung registration kit namin. And to really sense about it, kapag ikaw nagpapano ka ng event and where you're going to do some sponsorship deal, this is the one that you are going to give away doon sa mga i-invite mo, no? Na target audience or target participants. So ito 'yon sa mock-up nung ano namin nung registration kit, then just another view, diba? Then moving on din, ito yung isa sa sa touch points na ginawa ko, which is more or less publicity materials, no? Yung mga content na ginagawa ngayon na so to speak na very popular ngayon sa language, mga nag-SMM and so on and so forth, no? So you can see here, may kita nyo, may system talaga. So if I going to make a publicity material if na related sa seminar, I'm gonna be dominantly using the pink team, as you can see. And then kapag yung quiz competition namin, yung activities challenge, white naman siya. Then of course, I can even play along this a little bit. Minsan nagmi-mix ako if it's more of a good thing. So ginagawa ko rin naman din siya. But you can already see na meron sort of the system that I really follow through just to make sure na meron talagang organization on what kind of materials are being produced and being shared publicly, no? So a good example, ito lang din naman yung main posters namin sa seminar and sa challenge. So as like I said, talagang big deal yung event namin dahil umaabot yung grand prize namin ng up to 70,000 pesos. The next is press release, which is just only a variation din naman nung mga publicity materials na ginawa ko. You can already see na once you already establish a system, you only need to do some little tweaks on your layout para maging maging okay siya, no? Diba? So, hindi siya ganun kakomplikado once you already lay out the system if you are like a designer being sa publicity. Kapag meron ka ng system to lay out through, you just the only thing you know is just produce and produce. And the only thing that you need to care about is like things like okay ba yung reach nung mismong post ko? Nakikita ba siya ng lahat? Mga ganong bagay na ano. And also going back din dito, the reason I said this is a press release kasi we do even partner ourselves with some media partners. So let's say Daily Inquirer, Rappler. Then of course, as part of the deal, we simply going to promote them, and then we're going to be also promoting the event itself. So ganun lang naman straightforward yung deal nun. Diba? So then ito naman, ano lang to, a snippet lang din siya nung audiovisual presentation o yung video na ginawa ko. And this one is a highly graphical presentation talaga. So madami effects akong ginawa diyan, binidahan ko talaga because what really goal is to really make the audience very excited, very enticing to participate with the event. And yun yung isa sa mga parang key selling points. If you can be able to leave a good impression or something that they've been amazing about, they feel good about themselves if they join the event, then I think that the material for publicity is successful. So, then ito yung isa din sa mga naging touch point na ginawa ko is even publicity head is mga merchandise. So ito, design ko to dun sa t-shirt na bebenta namin. sa event. Ito yung ano naman, then yung notebook na ipapamimigay sa mga attendees, and it was also gonna be sold separately sa mga ano sa mga extra units. We also be having the lanyard. And then ito naman yung t-shirt na exclusive lang naman siya doon sa mga attend sa mga ano mga participating uh, college students sa ano namin sa quiz competition. So yun yun. Then ito yung to add din. Ito yung parang isa sa ano rin mga naging parang big addition sa event namin no nung time ko is we did organize a career expo, and this is one of the big addition doon sa event. And even though this is not really a like a very big thing, big deal siya in a sense na yung syempre we are being like inviting engineering students na someday they are also looking for opportunities, and we did conduct this small like a career expo or like a job fair just to able to for them to give them a way to reach out some engineering companies for opportunities, either it could be an internship or a full-time opportunity once they graduated. So very useful to. So talagang big changer din sa amin tong ano. Then as you can see, this is the publicity material that I produced for that. Then ito naman, not so related photo. But to really describe this, one of the responsibilities then when I was in that time na publicity head ako is to really lead out the design of the venue. So, i-design mo siya syempre based on yung sa na-establish mong identity, then yung mga ano din mga available asset like physical one like yung ano yung mga ipapakita mong pictures and mga uh, mga ubot-ubod no. So, yun ang very straightforward naman. Although fortunately in my case, we do have like some couple of people na talagang very focused dito sa work na to. So if I can remember back then in my time, all I just need is to simply oversee the work being done. So hindi ko kailangan na magkaroon ako ng very hands-on uh, participation on that. Siyempre, I do sometimes help din sa mga very small things, pero most of the time hindi na masyado. So that I'm very fortunate for that, no. Then so yun na yun. Okay na, preparation na lang yung ginawa namin yung lahat. As you can see doon sa mga na-produce ko, so we do have like the logo which is already been done through yung identity system na ini-implement lang, which is gonna be extending further doon sa mga touch points, no? Diba? And then the only thing that we are just waiting is of course we just address yung mga small gaps like communicating with our sponsors, paano gagamitin yung mga sponsor assets nila, paano namin i-implement yun sa lahat ng publicity material. So, very minor stuff, no? Pero ito yun, nagkaroon kami ng problem. Kasi if you're gonna be looking out the date, that is was 2019-2020. And the day that and the day we usually start the event is around February, no? Okay, specifically around like the first week of February before Feb Fair sa UP. So yun yung usual na date where we organize the engineering congress. So nagkaroon ng new problem because that when 2019-2020 because we have COVID, diba? So, why it's actually been like a big problem for us? Kasi, nung time na ano na yon, nung mga time na nagiging looming threat na siya, dun nagkakaroon na ng mga public concern. So, if I can remember correctly, marami sa mga attendees namin or some of them did not actually decided to push through to attend with the event just out of safety. Kasi lalo na kung let's say galing kang Visayas na as attendee, you're gonna be checking out with some mga health protocols, and that's gonna be a very big hassle then sa ibang mga attendees namin, and it much may be better decide to not really push through just out of safety and then for convenience then, no. And yun talagang big deal siya na event, talagang naging nakakatakot siyang isipin, especially knowing na hindi siya magiging hindi siya yung parang panandali ang problema lang. As you can see, it took us time to recover, 'di ba? So, as you can see, so some registered identity decide to not attend mainly to safety reason. But we managed to push through with the event, fortunately. Why? Kasi we've been able to coordinate with our university and nabigyan naman kami ng green light to still hold the event. Of course, with still some few with some few caveats in mind. So, of course, you have to observe some proper health protocols. And if let's say if you're already sick and you are already sick within the within the within within the last 2 weeks, and you definitely need to inform then yung administration for that. So very minor step naman na yun lang yung parang naging mitigation. So it's fortunate first na na-push to namin kasi hindi din talaga namin alam paano namin i-organize yung event. We already like be able to raise a lot of resources, and it's going to be a very big hassle for us and for those who are going to attend if this event did not push through. No. So, ito na, ang excited na part, event day. And for the succeeding slides, I'm definitely just going to share photos and just tell some stories about them, no? So, una sa lahat, ito lang yon, isa dun sa part ng venue design namin. We have this little bit of diagram. And I would just like to highlight here na it's a good move, a good decision doon sa nag-design ng venue namin na in charge here na incorporate yung different phases ng EC from the beginning. Even though this is not so a complete list because we definitely don't have like a track of ano yung mga naging publicity materials na ginamit for every single year. But this is already like good enough to show ano yung parang history ng event. So you can already appreciate ano yung evolution from the start, then yung nagkaroon ng ibang design, and then nagkaroon ng ibang design, and then and so on and so forth. Then you just only stay with only one, which is yung ngayon nakikilala na diamond, tsaka yung may ESC na monogram sa inner, sa inside. Then of course some other things like brief description of our events, and ito yung mga current executive president members ng time ko. Then ito, this one is our diorama. So ito yung isa rin sa mga endeavors na ginagawa ng organization namin every year. Yung time ko, gumagawa kami ng diorama, something related dun sa theme ng year. Since ito, nung event namin, it's all about transportation. But then, so gumawa kami ng diorama na similar siya sa EDSA. No? So yung yung MRT railway sa taas, and you have yung mga overpass and yung mga roads, no? So very interesting stuff, and the good thing it also strengthened din yung pagkakaano ng branding ng event. As you can see na yung mismo mga poster poster yung ginawa ko, nilagay siya dito, incorporate. So that's a good nice touch, di ba? Then some photos, ito yung isa sa mga naging speaker namin sa transportation. So this is the seminar itself, as you can see. Then ito naman, ito yung sa Executives Challenge, ito yung this year. And ito yung mga trophies na ginawa namin, as you can see, na as per naman. As you, even though if I gonna be looking back then, medyo awkward din, especially in the logo usage. At least what been done right is yung execution of colors. And it really good complementing good na kita nyo na very balanced yung pagkakaroon ng pink dito. Okay? Then some photos. So, ito yung mga ushers namin or my fellow workmates noon. Then some of the attendees who are solving problems on a particular problem sa na nilabas. And this is just a photo of me with my team noon. As you can see, ako nandito ako sa right side. Diba? Yun lang. So, yun lang yun. Yung mga nangyari nung event day itself. Now, let's talk about achievements because nagkwento lang naman ako ng mga ginawa ko. Ano naman yung parang naging outcome nito? despite the fact na ang dami namin na pagdaanan, and of course in myself na ang dami ko rin ginawa ano rin. So what now? Ano yung parang outcome? So as far as I can remember, ito lang yung mga nag-gather ko lang. Um, we did able to attend 658 seminar attendees. At and it's very important to emphasize here, we've been able to uh, fully book yung AM and PM sessions namin sa seminar. Because for those who have been asking, yung mismong seminar namin, we do have like two sessions. So in we have yung morning session na meron tatlong speaker, and then we have the afternoon session na tatlong speaker din. So I remember kapag let's say attendee ka ng ng quiz contest, ay fully register ka na on both seminar. But this time, as you can see, itong seminar attendees, combine na to nung mga attend na mga participant nung quiz competition, and then yung mga nag-register lang talaga dun sa seminar. So usually we've been having some schools na nag-mass registration lang for the seminar, hindi sila nag-attend doon sa quiz competition. So with that, then moving on is yung ano naman yung outcome sa executive challenge namin. So we have 52 participating teams from 28 colleges and universities nationwide. So madami. And if we've been able to reach this number around 50 plus, we already considered that we've been able to reach our goal financial wise. So, and ito rin yung talagang isa sa mga big factors din na makikita parang tinitingnan namin na key performance metric namin, just to say na okay yung financial outcome nung event. And just to illustrate yung 58, yung 52, yung 28 colleges na yun, ito lang naman yon, sila lang naman. Ito yung ina-produce ko na publicity material for that. So, kikita nyo yung may mga big names dyan, UP, we also have yung Bulso, and so on and so forth. So, ito yun din yung halos very competitive din talaga sa mga quiz competition. So, talagang big deal yung event. Then moving on, yung mga, so you remember, yung mga na-produce kong merchandise design, actually, according to my, to our finance head to the event, ito yung yung mga items, lalo na yung sa t-shirt, na quickly sold out siya. Like, siguro mga pagkabukas pa lang ng merchandise store namin, because we do have our very own online store, our very own merchandise store na, and if I can remember correctly, we even sold online, no? So nag-quickly sold out siya nung pagkabukas pa lang, kasi very enticing daw yung design na na-produce this nung time ko. Kasi to give also further context, ang usual na approach lang kasing ginagawa kapag mga sa amin, kapag gagawa ka ng design for merchandise, ilalagay lang namin yung logo sa gitna. Tapos yun na yun. so so I decided na I want to make it something different. So such that hindi siya yung parang put na ginagawa every year, and I just really want to make the design something different na still aligned din siya dun sa theme ng event in terms of how it should be feel, and I just really want to make sure na it's still going to be very good being wear everywhere. No? So yung design na ginawa ko, it really feels din kasi bagay talaga siya sa hindi siya awkward thing na kapag pinares mo sa kahit anong suot, di ba? So yun yung one of the big factors. And this one is, ito yung big factor. As of the day, remember yung ginawa kong logo for the main event, it's still being used today. Really. And I will show you to the succeeding slides how it's now being implemented. So as you can see, this is the event Succeeding Win, which is completely online siya nung time ko, nung nangyari to, 2021. So you can see, ito pa rin. The formula is still there, but they didn't change much on the logo itself. The only thing that they need to do is only change the palette being used, or they can incorporate like textures or shades. So ito yon, isang example, 2021. Then We have 2022. So wala rin masyado nagbago din. And then we have 2023, which is the latest one. So you can already see it's already been 3 years, and the design is just being uh, iterated throughout time. And this is one of my goals. It's one of my goals really is to really have like a proper logo na kapag ito na-identify ng tao, ito na yun, easy na yun. Yun lang yun. So, with that, no, we're going to now some of the later part. So I'm gonna be doing some a bit of reflection. So, with all the discussion I've been talking for the past for a few minutes, no, madami akong na-realize din, and marami din ako natutunan, marami din akong na-encounter or some of the insight na ano rin, or so and so forth, no. So, of course, I will reiterate again yung sinabi ko na my perception back then as being a publicity head is really more wearing a lot of hats, because I don't thought na I just going to need to make sure na produce lang ako ng mga designs for publicity. But I realized na hindi, it's more than that. Because as you can see here, I just listed here yung mga na-perceive kong role, mga job or responsibilities na is really more fitting to a specific role. So, for example, the logo design, it's more fitting for a graphic designer, no? Then, yung mga paggawa ng ABP and other mga mini videos, more on fitting sa video editor, sa motion designer. Then yung pagpo-post ko sa mga social media pages namin, or to monitor din yung paano yung communication with the media partners. So more of the social media manager siya. And then because I'm also working on with different kinds of deliverables, nandito rin papasok yung mga elements ng pagiging project manager, and so on and so forth. I cannot really count ano ba yung parang intricacies or yung parang very specific jobs na mas fitting siya on a specific role. So, ang pinaka takeaway dito is sometimes the title itself doesn't really matter. It's more on able to determine what is your job and responsibilities to do in the event. Diba? And it's really there. It's up to you whether you like it or not, or it's something aligns to you. So it really depends. So that's a very important caveat to know. Kapag you are taking with a certain role. So it really depends, no. Then ito yung mga parang if I going to do some feedback as well as on how I perform, and what are the things that I did well and I did well, didn't do right, no. Ito yung parang mga positive na naging improvement sa akin, if I can be objectively honest, at least, no. So first and foremost is a good improvement on design execution, kasi you can already see na yung mismong logo design ko back din nung sa UI, hindi ganun lang siya. Parang I just only put it a lot of elements there, and that's it. That's how I just call it a logo, which is back then when I was trying to review or force myself to learn how to do it, it's not really like that. It's actually more of a simple one that it really been more functional and been able to go direct to the point on communicating the qualities of the brand. No? So yun yung design execution. Then it also extended as well doon sa mga ibang mga touchpoint ko, where I do have to figure out a plan first, like siguro a normal sketch of a wireframe, paano ko i-figure out yung layout, and that's going to be it. Second one is communication. Kasi if I can remember correctly, most of the work that I do, I just only work on the background. No, before ako yung naging publicity head. And this is the time na nung time na tumungtong na ako dito sa position na to, ito yung talagang naging more direct akong nakikipag-usap sa tao, no. So talagang it's very like a big responsibility itself on how you've been able to communicate well with your teammates, as well as with some of the other orgmates, and as well as with some partners and even the attendees them. So tayong big plus to. Then another one is organization. And With regards to this is more on how being able to to sort out all our design assets here. And I did implement a system such that it's much easier for my org mates to just get out what they need and just work on it. And I did make sure na yung mga, let's say, yung mga PSD files, yung mga creative files mo, yung mga layers na naka-properly name siya. So, it's all about organization, making sure you do have like a system in mind so that it will be easier for implementation. No? And since it's also important to note that we still even keep yung mga design asset namin even after events so that it can be also used as a reference for the future president members who are going to utilize it. So, very important stuff siya. And the big factor here, last one, is skillful confidence. Kasi, even though I've been only like doing design, no, I'm only doing it more of a hobby. But I never thought of myself na kaya ko pala mag-deliver ng value in that kind of scale na yung kahit hindi pa ganun kaput-put yung skill ko, like mga ano na, parang I did took a formal training or my years na, if I can be honestly speaking, then boost yung confidence ko in the sense na kaya ko palang gawin siya. Na magagawa ko siya. So, so I can really speak to based experience na kaysa na burnout ako, hindi talaga ako na burnout. Mas actually more in case na siguro na burnout lang ako in a certain aspect selectively. Pero in terms of on my internal, hindi talaga siya. It's more of actually being more drive to do more design than ever after the event. Then in terms of what things I didn't do right, and I will be completely honest here, syempre hindi ako yung naging talagang very successful when it comes to people management. And the reason why for this is because nung time ko talaga, you can really see na karamihan sa mga design ko, galing sa akin yon. I was not, I wasn't able to delegate some of the simple tasks sa mga orgmates ko. And there's actually some quite a good, some valid reason din naman, no? And that is kasi, if I'm gonna be saying about it, yung mga orgmates namin, hati-hati na sila ng trabaho nun. Like, you are going, let's say, for example, ikaw normal na resident member ka lang, tapos hindi ka naman head or talagang co-head or nasa on the event. So, i-assign ka sa isang committee, and then i-assign ka rin sa isang committee, and then i-assign ka na naman din sa isang committee. So, there are times na you've been assigned to 3 committees and you are going to manage your time, how you've been able to contribute on those things. And you can already see how difficult that thing when we only have like a few active manpower in their organization. So, and ito yung the point na rin na kami as mga heads din, minsan yung ibang co-head ko umiiyak sila dahil ang hirap ng trabaho. Like, they're just gonna be working on with a task na talagang very tedious and needs a lot of power, but the only thing moving is like 3 people. So, meron ano rin. So, even though I didn't really do well on the people management and I can really partly blame myself for that, but I do recognize na hindi rin lahat ay kasalanan ko. So that's also a very important thing to know when you are like assessing yourself on how did you do well or right. You just only have to assess then what are the things that you are very fully control of, and and you can just simply dedicate your focus there. Then moving on is yung supervision. And ako yung mismo hindi talaga naging parang very enforcefully strict dito kasi ito yung mga very difficult when you are now actually working with a very large team. So you're gonna be making sure that you're going to communicate it right for different teams, and even though you already make sure na explicit yung directions mo or yung instructions mo, they will still have like a different taste on the design itself. And fortunately enough, I do encounter some of execution that did went right, and even I will be saying it improves. We also we also have yung mga bagay na hindi rin. So, it's just a fair trade, so to speak. Okay? So, with that being said, after the reflection, now I'm just going to back out with the question again. Now, the question becomes, do I really need to have experience to be an effective organizer? No? So, if I'm gonna be answering it right now in the time of the day here right now and I'm speaking, actually it depends. No, it's actually either yes or no, to say at least. Yes, because it le- yes because it could be, let's say, in my case, the event itself has already been able to build a reputation in mind, and we already have like some form of system to do, and the only thing that we need to care is just follow it through and able to do some changes here there to improve it. So it's more about tweaking the work, the system that already works. So if you are if you're being put in the position na hindi ka pa ganun ka-experience on it, or you don't have like idea in mind, and chances are you can actually still be successful, especially if you are going to work with people who are being doing the job in mind. And that's more likely going to be the case. There are definitely going to be some people that are very experienced, and you're going to be working with them for the preparation of an event. And that's a very big factor then if you are like less experienced pa, kasi that's going to be making sure that you are not so afraid to make mistakes, and the risk of losses isn't really too much. But let's say if you are organizing an event that's just only starting out, like just very new out of the blue, then you definitely going to need some form of experience just to be able to make the event very successful, especially if it's going to be the first time to be organized. No? So going to back to the question, it's just simply an answer of a it depends. It's a more of a yes or no. If I can, and I'm just gonna be reading then naman yung mga questions or insight nyo, and I've been really interested in what's your different take on this. No? Now, so going to then to the last part, how would I do things differently if I could start over? If I am now here in the position na marami na akong natutunan about branding, marami na akong natutunan about doing design, no? And I already like some form of experience actually working in the real world, no? So the first one is understand the business model and its current assets. And for those who've been listening here and being learning much about about the business, marketing, and branding, this is a very no-brainer kind of thing, because if you really want to communicate your if you really want to know how to how to communicate or create value in the most effective way, you have to understand what is your part of the whole system. So how you be able to know that? You just need to understand how the business model works. Paano nakukuha nung business na yon yung leads niya? Paano niya nagagawa yung mga leads niya into a conversion or being able to generate revenue? At paano niya na ipapabalik niya ulit doon sa cycle na yon, no? So, very important 'yon. And if I can be able to figure out that well in if I going to go back, maybe I've been able to contribute in terms of coordinating with our registration head, and we've been able to create like a very strategic plan. Baka napa-increase pa namin yung leads namin o yung attendees namin. And also, I will not forget then yung mga current assets, because this is the one that you're going to be leveraging from, or I could say this is your unfair advantage, or the cards that you have in your hand that you can utilize to achieve success on whatever endeavor that you're going to be doing. Then next one is learn and follow the form of process of building a brand. And this is a and this is important because this is more on how you're going to achieve a system to organize things. And and if you're able to make sure to to be more consistent here, this is will really guide you on how you're going to present your ideas or your plans to the team or to your internal teammates, no? So kasi ito yun eh, if you gonna able to follow with the process and then you able to stick it through, so kung meron mo mga rejections and everything, babalik lang din kayo dun sa process na yon, and dun yung para magiging basehan nyo. And this has also been like also guide, going to be your guide throughout the preparation of the event, or let's say if you're going to do it in the business aspect, this is the one you're going to be following through moving forward. The next one is to learn ways to improve social media engagement. And I didn't really, and this is also the part that I didn't really do really well here, if I can be completely honest with you. Kasi back then when we are doing things, the simplest way of for us to to show yung mga publicity head materials namin is just simply share it sa social media. Yun lang. Kumbaga, i-share lang namin sa feed namin, i-share lang namin sa stories. We didn't do anything other than that. We just simply share. And all that we just wish is may mga views kami, and be able to satisfy yung ano namin, yung may certain metric kami inabol, and that's it. At it turns out that if you really been, I learned out that if you can been able to make it more engaging, so let's say you can add out a call to action, like comment something on comment something that they've been really excited, and that's already going to make a big difference for a certain cold viewer to be more intrigued with the content itself and able to like a better lead magnet. No. Then another one is storytelling. Although in my case, in my time, I did do some aspect of it that I did right. My notion or understanding of it isn't that much of a full clarity. So ano ba yung parang big deal here when it comes to storytelling? And this is something that it's going to be very important. When you're going to tell a story, or you're going to speak something in front of many people, you have to remember three things. And the first one is you have to know your audience. So sino yung ba yung kausap mo? Then follow this yung ano yung alam nila, what they know. What upon coming to listen to you, what they already know in mind, what knowledge that they have, or what they already been thinking of. And number three is what they need to know. No? And if you've been able to understand well those three things, and of course, you'll be able to devise well your own part, but by making sure that you did your assignment right on what you're going to present, what infos that you need to share. It's going to be making a presentation or sharing of thoughts more successful generally. And another one is learn how to ask the right questions. And I like to emphasize here, ano ba yung parang yung ibig ko sabihin here? This is going to be like an increasing, a improving skill as long as you've been able to accumulate more knowledge and experience. So even though if you're already like beginning and up, it's just okay na mag-ask ka pa rin ng questions, and you can expand it further once you are now been learning new things. The reason that I've been saying this right now is because if you're just being like inexperienced person, and what you need is actually learn, it's really important that you can be able to direct yourself to the ideas or knowledge or skill that you need to learn. So in one of the ways of that is learn how to ask the right questions. And of course there's a lot of available frameworks out there. Meron dyan yung smart framework, you can ask specific, measurable, you know, those things, and try to track down the responses and being able to lead you through what you need to know or what you need to learn. Okay. Then second to the last is always ask for feedback, especially to the people with the right domain. And and I will actually think this is one of the very important thing to consider when you are organizing, when you are being like inexperienced enough, no? Or hindi ka pa ganun ka bihasa, di ba? Is you've been able to ask the feedback, the right feedback. Kasi, especially if let's say you are working in a team na hindi you don't have like the immediate people around you that the, equipping with the right knowledge, they may not be able to give you a proper feedback at all, or a very useful one. And also, I would like to share a little bit of snippet in one of the book that I recently finished reading, which is a book, Cultural Learning by Scott Young, about Principle 6, feedback. And I was just only making it quit that there are actually like three feedbacks form. The first one is the feedback that only tells you that if you're right or wrong. And then the second is telling you that you're right or wrong, and what is it? What is specifically it? The third one is the feedback that it not only gives you what is your right or wrong, what is that, and it also gives what is going to do to fix that. So bali tatlo. So yung yung una, sabihin lang naman niya na mali ka o hindi. Yung susunod is, ano yung pagkakamali mo, yun lang. Yung third one is, sasabi niya ano yung pagkakamali mo at paano mo siya remedyohan. So, if you're like an experienced one, definitely the third one is going to be the most useful one. But it's very important as well that you can still take into account the other types of feedback as well, because the only thing that you need to know here is you've been able to extract to the very useful information. So you can be very critical here on what kind of feedback that you've been receiving, and you need to be very objective if what you have taken is actually valid, or it could be simply subjective. It may not be very helpful. So the point is, kapag nakakuha ka ng feedback, you're just gonna be making sure na you can extract very useful information here. And in terms of in terms of experience wise, if you've been like experienced again, um, definitely the right people that you can reach on is yung mga taong they already do it, they already did it before. So I can already say na what I did of reaching out with some previous designers to consult if I did right with the design of engineering congress in the logo. That's actually one of the things that I did right. Diba? Then last but not least, team communication and picking the right people. And just to hear to in this case, I just going to emphasize yung about branding again. Kasi as you can see, it's branding is actually a very wide a broad topic, and it can even accept it can be also been involved about how you've been able to communicate with teammates, proper team communication, because they said about it that once you are now working with different kinds of people, the job your responsibility or your job is to make sure that you can able to communicate well with them. So that's going to demand you a good understanding about who they are as a person, what their desire is, what is their goals, and so on and so forth. And branding is going to really help you much on it, especially in things like ito pala yung parang primary desire niya. Nakakonekta pala siya sa ganitong archetype. So I've been already like saying some of the jargons here, but I do hope some of the audience here been able to recognize what is the role of a branding uh, on communication. Then here goes. I would just only end out my last slide here. Ito lang naman yung remaster ng event ko. Like I said, it just drives me more to create more. So so when I was already packing up everything and doing my turnover on things, I just decided na maybe it's gonna be a good personal project for me if I've been able to give opportunity to continue working on with the event and what improvements that I can do. And this is what I come up with. So I just simply improve a bit, tweak on yung sa logo, ng main logo. Then I did produce a logo now for the other two sub events. Even though it might personally take, it may not be like totally necessary, but just like a respect on what is been like the system been placed in mind. I just really follow through and let's see how it goes. So Anyway, that's all for today, and thank you for your attention. I've been already talking about like a few minutes ago, and I do hope you learned something from my story, from my experience. I'm very excited to take away and your questions.
Ayun. So, thank you so much again, JC, for sharing your
Yep.
story. And syempre nakita din natin, no, na-observe natin yung thought process ni JC na grabe yung attention to detail niya when it comes to working or when it comes to designing. Na-observe ko kasi talaga yan, no, nagto-turn over na tayo ng designs. Tapos si JC yung person na naka-organize talaga yung file. Ito yung, ito, PSD ba to? Para saan to gagamitin? Ini-explain niya talaga yun sa client, guys. So, hindi lang siya nagde-design for the sake na wala lang merong design, but iniisip niya yung mga extension, mga extension ng mga usage nun. What if mag-scale na ng business si client? Paano niya magagamit yung current design na ganito? So, ganun talaga siya mag-isip. And then, and aside from that is na-witness natin na knowledge is indeed transferable, 'di ba? So yung mga previous experiences ni JC, until now nagagamit niya 'yon when it comes sa pagde-design niya. So 'di ba na-mention niya yung mga about sa video games, gano'n. So, tayo rin we also have those, direct and indirect experiences na na-encounter natin. Halimbawa, sinasabi natin na, wala naman akong experience when it comes to marketing, but then meron, actually. What if pala nung bata ka nagtitinda ka ng mga munchkin, gano'n. So, yun is puwede mo siyang i-recall na mga experiences and then puwede mo siyang i-apply sa current situation mo. And then, that being said, JC, may tanong dito. Kasi nasagot mo na yung ibang questions while you were giving the reflection. So, eto, show ko na lang.
Okay. Sige.
Anong advice mabibigay mo sa pag-select and collaborate with vendors such as printers and production teams para ma-ensure na the design vision translate well into the physical event space?
Teka, pay attention ko to. Anong advice mabibigay mo sa pag-select na or collaborate with vendors such as printers and production team para ma-ensure na the design vision translate well into the physical event space? I'm not really like, ako yung parang I cannot really say about Mitch much about this question. So, thank you, ano, very good question siya. I never thought about this, no? Kasi, nung time ko kasi, hindi naman talaga ako properly involved with yung sa output. This is like different job na siya, no? I think it's more about communicating to sa marketing team. But, ang naisip ko lang dito is to really make sure na the design vision translate well into the physical state. This is definitely uh when you are going to select vendors, you simply going to parang ano interview process, no? So parang tatanungin mo sila, ganito, what is your capabilities on this? Kaya bang ma-produce ng ano na to, ng vendor to, yung gusto kong mangyari? Kasi totoo naman din. Let's say you're communicating with some vendors or sa mga yung mga na-produce like mga tarpaulins, hindi nila magawa yung gusto mong mangyari, and yun understandably hindi if it's not going to be aligned with your vision, and it may be not so parang feasible din sa magiging outcome, and then yun talagang you can totally try to totally reject then parang filter talaga. Pero let's say you can also do an approach where kung wala ka talaga constrain ka talaga on your choice, on your choice, definitely it's all about like meeting halfway, no? So you can already see ano ba yung limitations sa color or yung sa parang kaya na ilang ma-produce, and you can just pick, you can adjust your designer. So it's actually depende sa approach, no? So hindi naman necessarily parang ikaw masusunod unless kung talagang yun yung kailangan o yun yung kailangan mangyari. Yun lang yung sagot ko doon na ano. Very good question actually.
Tsaka ano din, na-appreciate ko din yung ano mo, kasi, based on working with yung, kasi ino-organize mo na rin yung, file at the same yung file name at the same time kung para saan siya gagamitin. Halimbawa 'pag ipe-print siya sa mugs or ipe-print siya for tarpaulins, 'di ba may iba't ibang ano dun, tawag dito, iba't ibang
Color?
measurements or yung mga kulay or si MYK, 'di ba may mga gano'n na mga.
Yeah.
Oo. So, okey din na parang i-communicate 'yun with sa magpe-print. Ayun din. And then isa din sa mga na-notice ko kanina, JC, is when you were siguro sa sa thought process mo or sa brainstorming mo ng design is uh finlash mo yung figurines, yung pink and blue. So yung ibang mga designers kasi, halimbawa ako amateur, dumidiretso lang ako sa Pinterest or sa Behance kapag ka ganun. Ikaw kasi is iba yung thought process mo, like iniisip mo yung movie and then iniisip mo yung sa MMDA na mga urinal, tapos kinoconnect-connect mo yung dots. So may tanong naman dito, kasi nag-confuse siya sa timeline. Ikaw naman, paano ka ba nagbe-brainstorm, or can you share some tips sa pag-create ng comprehensive design timeline and workflow para ma-ensure that all design-related tasks are completed efficiently in the lead up to the event?
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So you share some tips on create design compress. So, actually, ito yun, papasok ng project management skill na to. And I will be very guilty in na kahit meron kaming sort of a parang Gantt na photo, hindi namin sinusundan actually yun. So, talagang para sa pag din yung sistema namin in this end. Pero, ideally speaking, good question then, by the way, um, you have to determine, in this case, kapag gagawa ka ng design timeline, i-identify mo na based din sa mga previous data. Let's say kung meron ng parang na organize yung event o hindi siya bago, ano yung mga deliverables na it took a lot of time to do, no? So usually magkakaroon naman yan ng parang sort of a parang proper timeline naman yan. Siyempre, sisimula ka, turnover, tapo overtake, then prepare materials, di ba? Mga ganon. So, kung ano naman, assuming it was been properly documented, hopefully, so you're gonna be determining yung mga part na yon na talagang it took a lot of time. That gonna be you have going to pay attention there kasi yun yung magdidictate doon sa magiging overall timeline ng event o yung mismong deliverables, no? Parang ano yan eh. Meron din ba tinatawag na concept sa project management, yung may leading time, lag time, ano yung nasa critical path. Even though I'm already like saying like sa mga jargon, but you get the point, no? Na once you already determine yung mga very critical part of the work, dun talaga magpa-pay attention ka paano mo imamaniubra yon doon sa magiging proper timeline. And I think you can already been able to fit out then yung mga other parts of the deliverable na hindi pala siya ganun ka critical at all. So a good example in mind here to illustrate is yung sa case ko, kasi even though hindi ko na follow, meron akong parang mental framework in mind. Ano ba yung kailangan kong i-priority o at hindi? So for example, sa akin, yung time ko as publicity head, kailangan akong i-prioritize agad matapos yung logo tsaka yung identity system. Because I can only been able to make or to fabricate yung registration materials namin o yung registration kit, no? Yung pa naman, yung registration kit na yon, very important yon sa timeline ng preparation ng event. Kasi that's how we're going to reach out dun sa mga target participant namin and sa mga potential sponsors. So, that's one example. And then, yung mga succeeding one, like, may hindi na masyadong, so you can totally like free to adjust and everything. So, I hope you get the point then na inulit ko na yon. Very important tip, talagang pay attention dun sa mga very critical deliverables and yun.
Ayun.
So, yun yung matidictate agad talaga.
Mm. So, ayun. And then, eto rin, may nagtatanong. Kasi, from what you shared earlier, nakita ko na, di ba yung previous design is yung una yung sa red. Sa akin, nung nakita ko yun siya, is medyo feel ko, ay, parang siyang gaming event. But then, the moment na flinash mo yung mga next designs, tapos, shinare mo na parang, hala, nag-increase yung number ng participants, tapos, ganit ng ganitong times, and then, may tanong naman dito. So nakikita natin na parang yung yung design talaga is part siya kung paano nahahatak yung tao when it comes sa
Yeah,
certain events.
true.
Then eto, ano pang mga other inspirations siguro or national events or mga other examples where design played a crucial role and yung design choices,
Hmm.
paano siya nag-contribute sa overall success ng event?
Can you share examples of successful national events where design played a crucial? Good question. So, uh, uh, a good example of it, magbibigay ako ng outside So, hindi
Sige, go.
related to sa ano. I think ito yung naalala ko, yung case study about Anime Expo, which is the design, ang naging designer nun, ang parang redesign nun, nung project na yon is is Blind, which is yung design and branding consultancy ni Chris Do. So, sa mga nakakilala, si Chris
Mm-mm.
Do, no? So, I remember correctly, nagkaroon sila ng project deal with yung organizers ng AX just to really do a proper redesign of the whole Anime Expo. So it from yung sa design assets as well as yung venue design, pati yung sa website, no? So naging so yun yung naging parang guidelines din. Naging very big in contributing factor yung design din sa overall success, if I can remember correctly, yung binasa ko yung which is you can actually search it on web, yung mismong is yung parang pagka-idea of you've been able to execute design such that it really captures that feeling or emotion of the attendees. So let's say you've been able to use like some very flash colors or that it really incorporates that youth, no, or being energetic. Tapos fit din siya dun sa target audience nung mismong event. It definitely going to be leaving a longer impression to the to the attendees, and that's going to be creating a domino effect later on. It could just increase spontaneously, lalo na kung gagawin mong make consistent. I think also another example then, which is I cannot be very uh, confident about this on answering it, is yung parang comparable event sa amin sa
Mm-mm.
engineering space. Sa Diliman naman siya, which
Mm-mm.
is yung National Civil Engineering Summit, NCES, no? So, nagkaroon siya ng napaka-big impression, I think sa design-wise, nung nag-roll out na siya into one single logo. Yung, if I can remember correctly, yung kamukha ng emblem ng Quezon City government, pero tatlong building siya, tapos yung color palette, it represents the Philippines. Parang nation building siya. So, naging talagang okay ang visuals niya kasi hindi naman sa logo yung parang sa likod niya, but the overall feel. Kasi talagang gumagawa sila ng custom mga custom designs like buildings, renders and so on and so forth. That really reinforce really well to give a very good impact doon sa mga attendees. And also to take note din na sila yung mas spontaneously successful kasi they are actually like being consistently been able to invite mga top companies sa Philippines na engineering related, no? So yun lang yung two examples na I can really confidently say about based on my own understanding.
Ayun. Eto naman, kahit, na-share mo na kanina pero ifa-flash ko pa rin. Para naman dun sa mga nagda-doubt pa rin sa sarili nila, eto. How would you leverage the experience na nakuha mo from working on a national event to enhance your portfolio and attract more clients seeking event design services?
Good. So, ito yung rin. It's very important din here na kasi 'di ba I already emphasized na you just been designer 'di ba on an event. No, hindi you can already emphasize that it's actually more than that, no?
Mm.
You can actually put leverage din dun sa other experience na nakuha mo. Sabihin, hindi ka lang basta designer.
True.
So kunari, sa case ko, na-realize ko, nag-design lang din ako pero na-involve pa ako sa marketing. So kausap ko rin yung marketing, ano yung mga magandang product na mabebenta, yung talagang sold out agad na gano'n, ano yung parang gusto ng mga audience mo. So, that's another thing. That's another bonus point sa iyo na to leverage out, di ba? Another one is, let's say, sa case yung mismong papasukan mo, merong big impact sa social media. Alam mo palang gumamit paano gumawa ng effective app copy. Pwede alam mo rin pala paano gumawa ng ad strategy, how to make a funnel out of it. Then
Mm.
another, that's a bonus point again, no? So to really make sure, even though your main selling point is your design, which is of course it do have like a big effect, di ba? No? On how you're communicating yung identity, kasi yun naman yung isa sa big factor din ng design is ano yung connect nun sa personality, kumbaga, o yung feel ng event. You can actually leverage other experience that you already get. And also, most importantly, hindi lang experience. So let's say, meron kang domain knowledge into some other aspect na hindi talaga totally related at all. Kung let's say, ibang example, designer ka pero alam mo pala paano magbasa ng analytics,
Hmm, mm.
'di ba? Which is I'm actually personally, this is also one of the things that I'm trying to explore. Kasi yung to share din kasi nag-iintrigue ako yung puro sa branding, hindi wala akong nakikita masyadong numbers. Puro
Mm.
qualitative lang. Ano naman yung interpretation niya sa numbers? So, ako yung tipong ito yung I think this is very important kasi doon mo lang ma-reflect tangibly ano yung effect nung ginawa mong design. It's through the
Hmm.
numbers, no? So, that's another bonus point na if you have like some form of knowledge and you're able to communicate through na, oh, ito, if I do a design in this and I can actually show and track na we can actually measure how things are going on. And that's another bonus point. That's going to be helping a lot to whatever person you be, whether it's actually a event design service or not, no? Yun, bonus point talaga siya. So basically, to make it short, yun, it's all about selling other valuable skill na mapapansin mo. So, yun, going back din tayo dun sa point na you just have to understand how you fit to the system. So do not pay attention much on yung sa pinaka primary position. You don't need to parang focus on that. If you find yourself na kaya mo palang i-broaden yung skill set mo and you've been able to provide value, then that's going to be a more enticing uh, thing to whatever prospect that you have for clients or organization that you want to work with.
Ayun. So, super ano talaga 'no, super valuable din na parang nagfa-follow up ka rin with your clients kasi nga halimbawa ako ako nagsusulat akong story. So hindi ko rin alam kung naging effective ba 'yun siya when it comes sa business ni client kasi nga sinasabi natin na wala namang numbers. Hindi naman siya kagaya ng sa FB ads na direkta mong nakikita kung may sales ba, gano'n. And then when it comes sa designs and also sa brand story part din is need mo na kumustahin nga si client ko kung kumusta na yung takbo ng business nila after tayo nakipag-work sa kanila. And then aside from that also is parang gagawa ka rin ng evaluation, ah, kasi nga hindi natin name-measure yung numbers agad-agad. Siguro, isasali din sa evaluation kung ano yung parang na-feel nila before working with us, 'di ba? Halimbawa, hindi sila masyadong confident when it comes to showing up kasi nga wala pa silang gano'n ka-solid na brand identity. And then when it comes to that is, isa rin sa nakuha ko sa'yo kanina at pinaka-lodi ko talaga sa'yo kasi ikaw yung nagturo sa'min kung paano yung kumuha ng parang valuable feedback na parang yung iba kasi is they're just giving feedback for the sake lang na parang may masabi sila, "Ay maganda, ay okey siya." 'Di ba yung mga gano'n na mga thoughts?
Actually, may add ako dyan.
O sige
Pero
go.
sige, continue mo lang. Ano yung
Oo.
ano mo?
So yung thought ko dun is parang puwede mo bang i-share sa iba yung parang sa constructive feedback kung paano mo siya, ini-execute dapat? So ayun, go na, ikaw na.
Okay. Yung to add din kasi, um, kasi retrospective din, especially it reflects din dun sa current trajectory sa career ko rin ko so far kasi, ito kapag let's say you're just only starting out, like less than like one like 0 to 2 years of experience, this is
Mm.
the time that you're actually one of the most important tool ever if you really want to accelerate your growth is feedback. Parang, pero syempre, nakakatakot, di ba? You are going to, parang sinasapak ka. Ang gagawin mo ay parang ano lang, hayaan mo lang sarili mong tamaan. Pero syempre, Oo, totoo naman. It's actually going to be very painful, and it's gonna be definitely take some time for us to get use of the uncomfortable pill na we've been giving negative feedback, which sometimes it directly attacks our ego or our emotion, no?
Mm.
So, but this is it. But if you're going to talk about what you can control to yourself, is you have the capability to determine which of the feedback is actually helpful or not. So parang ang very important, you don't is you try your best to not be emotionally attached to the feedback itself, but be objectively that you are also like giving feedback to whatever you receive. Kasi ang very important namang part sa feedback is for improvement, di ba? So, if you're just going to get a feedback na it doesn't really give much other than it's just more of like appeal to your emotion o ano, it's not going to be very helpful at all. No? So, let's say, pangit yung gawa mo. O, what's now the, ano nun? Ano yung parang magiging insight more for that? Di ba? Wala, di ba?
Mm.
And this is also to add din, kaya talagang sumingit ako. I
Mm.
actually learned din sa yung recently book na finish ko yung about ultra learning by Scott Young is actually if you're just only going to give like very good feedback like you're a smart person,
Mm.
actually it's not helpful at all. Kasi daw hindi siya it's more about appealing to the ego.
Mm.
Hindi siya more on improving the skill. If you get the logic behind, no? So, parang ano yan, equally speaking, even the good feedback na, no, yeah, you're a smart person, yun, mga ganon. So yun yung parang, those are the things that have to pay attention when you are getting the feedback. So, of course, it's your obligation na if you really want to improve, you don't dodge the punches, no? But also at the same time, it's also good thing to know or to eliminate everything na it doesn't is not really useful at all and only extract what is very useful, something that you can use on for improvement. Yun lang.
Ayun. And then, na-remember ko rin kanina, JC, na you stated why you showed up. Kasi you're coming, kasi kung walang ibang mag-show up, and then you're coming from a place of empathy din. So, eto, may isang question din. Does organizing a national event boost your confidence? Knowing wala kang experience, pero kinaya mo yon.
Kung sa ano sa area ng ano na to, syempre yes, of course, no. Definitely speaking kasi pansin mo ako ito yung alam mo yung feel na kahit mahirap siya,
Mm.
ipupush mo pa rin kahit anong mangyari. So wala ka na masyadong pakialam on if you did something right. Of course, concern mo rin 'yon na ano rin. Pero parang ang what you can only do is just do what you can control of and just focus on that and try to do your best on the best of your capability of what you can control. So parang
Mm.
ano na yan, ang mindset doon, the outcome isn't much of a big deal for you. As long as you didn't able to do your job right. At least,
Mm.
no? So, kinaya ko yun kasi isipin mo, ano, I just only take the job out of empathy and also with the premonition that I will not get a lot of help.
Mm.
Yung mga taong kasama ko sa organization, even though some of them are like yung may experience as a design, they don't really can offer help much about feedback. Kasi to really share some inside stories, I was getting a lot of like I was really getting a lot of doubts from the org mates
Mm.
na ito yung design ko, it might actually not work. Hindi ito yung nakasanayan namin, ganon, ganyan. Tapos, you also have yung doubts din galing sa mga old members sa organization nyo na you are proposing something drastic, which is itong permanent law na gusto kong mangyari. Tapos may papakita siya, you can try to ask advice from the alumni sa ano. Eh, mahirap yung kasi medyo wala na sila, hindi na sila masyadong outdated doon. So, di ba maraming conflicts na mangyayari. So, what's for me? Then, this is the time na, ano rin, I do know na it's really easy in the creatives to really reach out on people, especially on very big, very huge community settings of those who want to learn how to design. So, just want to post your work there, then ask for feedback, no? Yun.
Mm.
Yung mga nakuha kong insight na very descriptive talaga, what things that I did wrong, what this I didn't do right, and what they think is going to be the ways that I can really improve on. Doon talagang naging helpful siya so that I can reach on in a direction where I can make sure my work it gets improved. Hindi yung I just going to circle in a just going stuck in a circle of thought process na I just do this and I'm doubting if this is a right thing or what. No, yun.
Mm.
So, yun pa rin. Talagang you're gonna be thinking of ways talaga to really boost your confidence then. So this is also the benefit then that you have to really research out where are you going to find the answers.
Ayun, ayun.
Yun yung ano lang doon. Yun
Oo.
lang. So, actually, to make it short, yun. Okay naman. Ubus talaga ko confidence, especially to the design, especially on how to do some business, deal with some business na related on this. No?
Mm. So yun. So parang dami kong nating natutunan today when it comes to this talk. Ako personally, so parang yung key takeaway ko is parang use your previous experiences sa mga other works mo kahit hindi siya related directly sa freelance. Pwede siyang i-apply sa current situation. And then aside from that is communicate with those who are already working, and then you tend to ask questions. And then aside from that, yung sa feedback nga is more on sa constructive side, and then tingnan mo yung work mo, and then wag mo siyang i-tie up towards you talaga as a person. So with all those key takeaways, so ano na kasi 6:56 na. Ano JC, final one sentence advice para dun sa mga feel nila is stuck pa rin, and then uh the lack of experience is holding them back from actually taking action and showing up. So final golden
Hmm.
advice na gusto mong i-share.
Ito yun sa ano ko eh. Ito siguro, I will do something about it na ito yung something that I'll be actually working on to myself then to improve, to really go
Mm.
back to the track. Kasi as you can see, hindi talaga, actually, I actually decided to not so much be active much on ano. I was
Mm.
pursuing other endeavors and try to do my best on what I really enjoy the most. Ito yun eh. Una sa lahat, first and foremost, know your whys, which is why
Mm.
you are actually doing this. Then the second one is ano yung identity na gusto mong i-cultivate, no? And then the third one is what is going to be the smallest step that you can do to reach that.
Mm.
Anything. It could be something like, kunwari gusto mo maging healthy, isang push-up lang every day. Okay na
Ayun.
yun. It may not be so much, but if you try to make it consistent, then you may know it may actually change your brain. And also, even though this is one like very crazy stuff, no, siguro kung mga nagbabasa dito ng ano ng about sa neuroscience, no.
Mm.
Ito, tandaan niyo lang to. If you're gonna be making sure na you're keeping yourself like doing things, new things, and try to keep yourself like ano, keep out of the comfort zone, no, learn something new. You're going to realize that as you keep yourself learning new things and expose yourself to new experiences, your brain you're definitely going to be you're no longer like the same person as you were yesterday. Bakit? Kasi every time na nangyayari yon, we actually change, we're actually growing new cells sa brain natin.
Mm.
Lalo na dun sa hippocampus, which is, I can remember correctly, that is the Center for Learning and Knowledge, no?
Mm.
So, you can actually verify din. Nagbabasa din ako ng book and that's actually one of yung mga takeaways na ano ko ron. Pero, without being said, no, yun yung pay attention with three things. Yung voice mo, yung identity na gusto mong i-cultivate, and what is going to be the smallest thing that you can do. And one-liner mantra, what can you do today?
Mm.
Today. Yun lang. Yun
Mm.
lang.
Ayun. Ayun. So, thank you Jun sa mga shinare mo. So, super valuable talaga. Inabot tayo ng around 2 hours na parang sharing. So, ayun. Thank you din sa mga nanonood at sa mga manonood
Thank
ng
you.
replay na to. Grabe, super valuable yung mga advices ni JC. At ano ba, magsisend ka ba ng PowerPoint slides para sa mga
Yeah,
person?
definitely.
Ayun.
I'm gonna be sharing yung yung version that you can be shared then. As well as yung, I will be including din yung relevant links doon sa ibang parts kasi syempre, hindi mo ma-appreciate yung iba, like pictures, static pictures lang siya.
Mm.
So, yun. You can even check out yourself. And also, I'll be planning then to release then a feedback form, at least on how do I do well in this presentation. And I've been really very keen to learn this. Like, let's say, nagsasabi ako ng feedback, why not hindi ko ini-apply sa sarili ko? I'm doing that. No?
Mm.
Kasi this is going to be like key for me to how I going to improve further my delivery on how I teach people. And because that's going to be also one of my long-term goals din naman is to be an educator talaga. So, yun. Yun lang naman.
Ayun, ayun. So, thank you again, GC, for being with us today. Thank you sa mga
Thank
nanonood.
you.
So, ayun, thank you. End na po namin. Bye po. Thank you.
Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.